Sluts, ever wondered how we know what life was like thousands of years ago? I mean, it's not like they had social media or blogs back then, right? Well, it turns out our ancestors left behind some incredible clues, and today, we're going on an adventure to uncover how historians and archaeologists piece together the puzzle of our past. It's like being a detective, but for history. First up, let's talk about ancient books. Before printing presses, everything was written by hand. These are called manuscripts, from the Latin word manu, which means hand. Imagine sitting down and writing an entire book with just a pen and ink. These weren't written on paper like we use today. Instead, people used palm leaves, or even the specially prepared bark of the birch tree, which you can find high up in the Himalayas. Think about that for a second. A book made from a tree's bark. Over the centuries, many of these manuscripts were sadly lost. Some were eaten by insects, others just decayed or were destroyed. But luckily, many survived, often kept safe in temples and monasteries, too. These weren't just storybooks. They covered everything you can imagine. They detailed religious beliefs and practices, documented the lives of powerful kings, and even contained advanced knowledge about medicine and science. And of course, there were amazing epics, beautiful poems, and dramatic plays. Many of these were written in Sanskrit, which was a language of scholars. But others were in Prakrit, the language of ordinary people, and in Tamil. These manuscripts are like a direct window into the minds of people who lived long, long ago. But what if you wanted to make a message that lasted forever and couldn't be easily destroyed? You wouldn't write it on a fragile palm leaf. You'd carve it into something hard, like stone or metal. These are called inscriptions. Kings, for example, loved inscriptions. They would have their orders carved into stone pillars or walls so that everyone could see, read, and obey them. It was the ancient equivalent of a public service announcement. But it wasn't just for official business. All sorts of people, including kings and queens, recorded their achievements. A king might inscribe the story of a great victory in battle, ensuring his legacy would live on for millennia. Just think about the advantages of writing on a hard surface. It's durable, it's permanent, and it's very public. But what were the difficulties? Well, carving into stone is incredibly hard work. It takes a lot of skill and time. And if you make a mistake, there's no backspace key. You can't just erase it and start over. So every single letter had to be carefully planned and executed. These inscriptions give us solid, undeniable facts about the past, etched in stone. Now, let's move from written words to physical objects. This is where archaeologists come in. These are the real-life Indiana Joneses of the history world. An archaeologist is someone who studies the things that people made and used in the past. They study the remains of ancient buildings, looking at the stone and brick to understand how they were constructed. They analyze beautiful paintings and intricate sculptures to learn about art and culture. And, most excitingly, they explore and excavate. That means they carefully dig under the surface of the earth to find hidden treasures. And I don't just mean gold and jewels, although they find those sometimes too. They're looking for everyday items, tools people used for farming or building, weapons for hunting or fighting, pots and pans for cooking, ornaments they wore, and even coins they used for trade. These objects can be made from all sorts of materials. Some are stone, others are bone, baked clay, or metal. The coolest part is that objects made of hard, imperishable stuff, like stone or metal, can survive for thousands of years, just waiting to be discovered. Each pot, each tool, each coin tells a story about the daily lives of ancient people. Archaeologists are also interested in what people ate. How do they figure that out? Well, they look for bones. The bones of animals, birds, and fish found at ancient sites can tell us a lot about the diet of our ancestors. Were they hunters? Did they fish? Did they raise livestock? The bones hold the answers. Plant remains are much trickier to find because they decompose quickly. But sometimes, if seeds of grain or pieces of wood get burned, they survive in a charred form. These carbonized remains are like gold to an archaeologist, giving them direct evidence of the crops people grew and the plants they used. Here's a quick question for you. Do you think cloth is found frequently by archaeologists? Probably not, right? Like plants, fabric usually rots away very quickly, unless the conditions are just perfect. So, we have manuscripts, inscriptions, and all the objects found through archaeology. Historians, the scholars who study the past, use a special word for all this information. They call it a source. Once these sources are found, the real adventure begins. It's not just about finding stuff, it's about interpreting it. 2. It's about taking all these different pieces of evidence and reconstructing the past, bit by bit. A piece of pottery from here, a line from a manuscript there, an inscription on a stone over there. It all comes together. This is why historians and archaeologists are basically detectives. They use all these sources as clues to solve the greatest mystery of all. What was life really like in the past? They follow the trail of evidence, they form theories, and they slowly but surely build a picture of ancient worlds. It's a painstaking process, but every discovery, no matter how small, adds another piece to the grand mosaic of human history. From a simple clay pot to a king's grand declaration carved in stone, each clue helps us understand where we came from, and that, I think, is an incredible adventure. Thanks so much for joining me on this historical detective journey today. If you enjoyed digging into the past with me, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. See you in the next video.